welcome. I'm Geeta Mohan and you're watching World Today. The biggest developing story is what we're reporting on. It's coming in from Pakistan on the hostage crisis. Conflicting reports coming in, conflicting claims that are coming in. Pakistani army, in this breaking news, has said that the hostage crisis has indeed ended. There were 30 BLA fighters killed by Pak army, 21 passengers and 4 army personnel have been reportedly killed. Pakistani army claims that all passengers who were taken hostage by BLA have been rescued. Baloch Liberation Army has claimed that more than 100 Pakistani personnel have been executed so far. They also released a video of how a section of the railway track in Bolan was bombed. Pakistani forces claim to have managed to free 190 hostages, mostly senior citizens, women and children. On the other hand, BLA says that there was no rescue operation that was successfully carried out by the Pakistani army and that women and children were given safe passage by none other than the BLA themselves. That's the Baloch Liberation Army. More than 450 passengers were on board when rebels captured the train at the entrance of the tunnel. BLA, this is tunnel number 8. BLA immediately claimed responsibility for the hijack, but now the first reaction coming in from the Pakistani army on the hostage crisis. Pak army says that the hostage crisis has come to an end and all the passengers who'd been taken hostage have been rescued. Mehran Murray, a Baloch activist who's been tracking all the developments on the ground very closely, joins me for more on this. Mehran, thank you so much for joining me again on the show. It is a massive new development that we are seeing where Pakistani army now, Mehran, is claiming that the hostage crisis has indeed ended, although BLA says, not so while ago, said that they still have about 150 hostages.
The Pakistan Army's words should not be trusted because they lie. They're compulsive liars. Throughout their history, they've lied and manipulated and camouflaged the truth from the world. And their army's credibility is questionable. So I think we can't really trust what Pakistani army is saying, but we have to wait and see how everything unfolds in reality.
Mehran, then just stay on with us. I have Ejaz Ahmed, also a very senior Pakistani journalist who follows and tracks security issues very, very closely. Ejaz, thank you so much for joining me here on the network. The latest development, I'd like your reaction on the latest development. Pakistani army says that the hostage crisis has ended.
Yeah, sources that I had there at the at the operation place later on confirmed that the army has successfully released all hostage passengers. But what Mehran was saying, if the issue is the about the credibility, so BLA also don't have any credibility in rest of Pakistan. So the claims are mere claims. But the army sources says that all passengers are safe. Every dead body, I believe, every dead body has sanctity, and it will be accounted for. Nobody can be able to hide any single dead body if there was or there is any. The sources say that the number of casualties, those who were killed initially in the initial moment of the when the terrorists captured that train or hostage that train, the moment they were killed, that is being determined. I would able to in a 2 or 3 hours to get the whole picture. But so far, every single passenger, according to my information, he is released and he is being sent to safer places. They are being sent to hospitals for their early checkup. Although sources confirm that few of them are injured, and sources also says that there might have been killings in the initial moments. So the number is being determined, and that one thing that sources claim in the military establishment.
Please name your sources. Who's your sources?
There were 33 terrorists, including including few suicide bombers. They all
Right.
are killed because it was a long operation. You know, I had been covering such things for last 35 years. I covered
Right.
GHQ operation. I
Stop
covered number of other
stuttering.
operations.
Speak.
Yeah, they got tired. The terrorists who were 33, but in situation they were caught in. They were to walk in. They were to keep awake.
Okay.
So they were tired. And while the sources also confirm, and what I had.
Okay, so for now,
earlier
Ajaz, you're
experienced,
saying that the
the-
hostage crisis is over and that the BLA personnel also have been neutralized, that the rescue has been successful of the hostages that were alive. I will come to you on accountability, but before that, Mehran Murray, Ajaz puts a very important point over here. He says if Mehran claims that Pakistani army has no credibility, nor does the BLA. What did the BLA achieve from this incident?
There's no competition between the Baloch freedom fighters and the Pakistani army. I'll be ashamed to compare Baloch freedom fighters with the Pakistani army because Pakistani army is an incompetent rogue parasite on earth. So the funny thing is, you can see the representatives of the government, they're pseudo-journalists, they all stutter, mince their words because they've been given that parchi to read by ISPR. I mean, it's a joke of a country. I mean, can you see the gentleman stuttering and mincing his words and getting confused about what to say, what not to say, how to defend their masters? I mean, it's ridiculous. This country, how it even exists, it's shameful for us to be subjugated by them.
I didn't use any derogatory words about Mehran. Please, Mehran, don't use any derogatory words about me.
Right. Let's just keep the
What you
decorum
represent
of
is
the
shameful.
conversation.
I
Ajaz,
had
if I could
all
come
the
to
respect
you.
for all people who are fighting for their rights, but the peaceful people. I like the peaceful people. I have all
Yes,
respect.
peaceful people.
But
How much respect you gave to?
I'm not here to be abused by you or anyone else. No.
Maharang Baloch, when she
You
came to
have to give me
Islamabad,
respect. I'm giving you respect.
water
You have to
cannons
give
on
me
them.
also.
You disrespected them. You pulled their
You
clothes and
also,
hairs when they
although
came to
you are killing
Islamabad for
my
peaceful
people, but
protest.
I'm still. No. You are giving me this. You are using derogatory words about me. I'm not ready
I'm
to hear
not
any
about
derogatory
you,
words.
about your establishment and
I'm sorry.
what
Right.
you
I
represent
respect
and what
all
you
people.
stand
Can we
for.
steer the
respect all
conversation
people
back to what
who
we're
struggle
discussing right
critically.
now, and
I
that's
don't
the
respect
situation on the
for
ground?
butchers, for murderers, for terrorists, but still I'm respecting you. Please don't use
Right.
derogatory words.
Ajaz,
We have taken
can I
enough
just
from you
ask you
guys. You
this?
should have respect for us.
Right, can I just ask you this, Ajaz? Now, this is a massive security failure. What's the assessment in Rawalpindi? What's the assessment in Islamabad? Will heads roll?
Look, indeed, it is a intelligence failure. It might be a big failure. It might be a little failure, but that will be determined after the investigations. And I'm sure I didn't talk anyone about the investigation so far. But I'm sure, and I will talk to them later. Will talk to my sources. They will investigate how this happened. They will completely investigate, and then the facts would be revealed. But you know, the Balochistan is altogether a different ball game. It has vast areas, empty areas, huge mountains and terraces, and the view is also very difficult in Balochistan because of the situation of the train track. It is like a zigzag track. So there are a number of things involved. Anything can be happen. Yes, it can be an intelligence failure. I don't deny it. It must have been an intelligence failure. Intelligence should have gathered the information earlier on. But I am, what I would do, I would recheck if there would have been any intelligence threat was there or not. This has to be checked because I was busy in other things, so I could not check. So I will check, and then I would be able to say anything.
But you also make a very important point, Ajaz. Thank you so much for joining me and Mehran. But the fact is that a very important point was made.
They cannot hide behind the cover of
an area of large expanse of land, and it is, in many words, in so many words, underdeveloped. There is no development. There's hardly any development in Balochistan. The reason why Baloch have been fighting for their rights, for what they deserve, it's resource rich. The resources do not stay in Balochistan. They're fed and sent to other provinces of Pakistan. And therefore, we're looking at the struggle between the Baloch and the power centers in Islamabad and Rawalpindi. With that, we'll shift focus. New Delhi is all set to host top officials from the Trump administration this month, marking a major diplomatic moment. J.D. Vance, Vice President of America, is gearing up for a visit to India later this month, accompanied by Second Lady Usha Vance. But before that, another high-profile official from Washington is arriving in the Indian capital. Tulsi Gabbard, the U.S. Director of National Intelligence. In fact, the first foreign leader that she met after taking oath was indeed Prime Minister Narendra Modi when he was in Washington, D.C. Gabbard's visit marks the first high-level engagement between India and the Trump administration since his re-election. She'll be attending the intelligence chiefs meeting, a key gathering of global security leaders. Joining her will be Daniel Rogers, Canada's intelligence chief, a lot to do with the recent tensions between India and Canada that could come up during the conversations, a visit that signals a potential thaw in India-Canada relations under Prime Minister-designate Mark Carney after ties hit rock bottom under Justin Trudeau over the 2023 Niger controversy. Also in attendance will be Richard Moore, the head of UK's MI6, where the Khalistan issue again remains a major concern when it comes to British intelligence. Now, the conclave will also bring together top security officials from West Asia, Australia, New Zealand, and the UAE, alongside senior Russian representatives, despite geopolitical tensions. Russia's participation comes at a crucial time as the US pushes for a ceasefire deal in Ukraine, while its negotiators engage with Moscow and Kyiv in Saudi Arabia. With a packed agenda covering terrorism, cybersecurity, transnational crimes, and global conflicts, this Ajit Doval-led initiative has become a key platform for intelligence diplomacy. And one thing is clear, New Delhi is the place to watch as global security powerhouse converge. Now, shifting focus, trade tensions are heating up between India and the United States of America. This comes as Donald Trump's April 2nd deadline for imposing reciprocal tariffs on India is fast approaching. White House Press Secretary Catherine Leavitt came out swinging, saying India's tariffs are not helping the situation. Moreover, Trump suggested he might ease tariffs on Canada after Ontario's government decided to suspend a power surcharge affecting U.S. states. But when it comes to India, no such relief appears to be on the table. So what exactly does Washington want from India? According to reports, the U.S. is pushing New Delhi to slash tariffs on nearly all goods except agricultural products. India's Commerce Secretary, Sunil Barthwal, however, is standing firm. Speaking to a parliamentary panel, he confirmed that no commitments have been made on reducing tariffs. Meanwhile, White House Press Secretary Catherine Leavitt highlighted 150% tariff imposed by India on American alcohol.
If you look at the rates of tariffs across the board that Canadians have been imposing on the American people and our workers here, it is egregious. In fact, I have a handy-dandy chart here that shows not just Canada, but the rate of tariffs across the board. If you look at Canada, since you brought it up, American cheese and butter, nearly 300% tariff. You look at India, 150% tariff on American alcohol. You think that's helping Kentucky bourbon be exported into India? I don't think so. 100% tariff on agricultural products from India.
And that's their position on India. But in a surprising turn of events, President Donald Trump has indicated he is probably going to reduce tariffs on Canadian imports. This comes after Ontario suspended a surcharge on electricity exports to the United States. The move highlights the administration's fluctuating stance on trade policies, especially concerning key allies like Canada, Mexico, and the European Union. This surcharge was initially imposed in response to America's increasing tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum to 50%. The trade tensions began when President Trump announced a 25% tariff on all imports from Canada and Mexico. Trump cited concerns over illegal immigration and drug trafficking. Despite attempts at negotiation, these tariffs took effect on the 4th of March. These aggressive tariff strategies have had significant economic repercussions. The Wall Street has plunged nearly 10% below record, wiping out almost $4 trillion in value. Experts say the uncertainty stemming from these unpredictable tariff actions is causing businesses to delay investments. This could push the U.S. economy toward a recession. The administration's pattern of imposing tariffs and then rolling them back amid market downturns raises questions about the stability and direction of U.S.'s trade policy as also foreign policy. While the intent is to protect American interests, the fluctuating approach may be contributing to economic instability.
As you know, there's a very strong man in Canada who said he was going to charge a surcharge or a tariff on electricity coming into our country. He has called and he said he's not going to do that. Okay, he's not going to do that. And it would have been a very bad thing if he did, and he's not going to do that, so I respect that. But we were just informed that he's not going to do that.
Now, President Trump's election call for end to wars has taken its first step. Meetings between U.S. and Ukrainian officials in Saudi Arabia's Jeddah and the ceasefire decision is being termed a positive step towards the end to the crisis. Now, all eyes are on Kremlin's next step. Take a look at this report.
The U.S.-Ukraine meeting in Jeddah, which culminated in Ukraine agreeing to a 30-day ceasefire, now has the ball in Russia's court. Now it is up to President Vladimir Putin to make Trump's dream a reality.
Today we made an offer that the Ukrainians have accepted, which is to enter into a ceasefire and into immediate negotiations to end this conflict in a way that's enduring and sustainable and accounts for their interests, their security, their ability to prosper as a nation. And hopefully we'll take this offer now to the Russians. And we hope that they'll say yes to peace. The ball is now in their court.
But the Kremlin has not yet responded as to what would their terms be to end the war and if at all they would agree to a ceasefire. However, Moscow is hopeful that Washington, D.C. would contact them in coming days.
I can tell you that we are carefully studying the statements made as a result and familiarizing ourselves with the text of the joint statement adopted in Jeddah. We assume, as was said yesterday in Jeddah, Secretary of State Rubio and National Security Advisor Waltz will inform us through various channels in coming days about the details of the negotiations that took place and the understandings reached.
President Putin earlier talked about being open to negotiations and peace that guarantee safety to Russians.
We must choose for ourselves a peace option that will suit us and that will ensure peace for our country in the long-term historical perspective. We do not need anything that belongs to others, but we will not give up what is ours. And we need such an option, precisely such an option that would ensure the stable development of our country in conditions of peace and security.
US President Donald Trump is hopeful that his election campaign that rallied to end the war will now be achieved. And the drama that unfolded in the Oval Office can become a matter of the past.
Ukraine, ceasefire. Ukraine, ceasefire. Just agreed to a little while ago. Now we have to go to Russia and hopefully President Putin will agree to that also. And we can get this show on the road. We want to get that war over with. So I think it's a very big, I think it's a big difference between the last visit you saw at the Oval Office and this. So that's a total ceasefire. Ukraine has agreed to it, and hopefully Russia will agree to it.
European leaders have welcomed this and hope that Russia walks the talk. Ukrainians are skeptical of the ceasefire, and some Russians are not happy about a truce when they have the upper hand. It is a wait-and-watch moment, as Ukrainians are losing hold in Russia's Kursk region, and Moscow claims further advances in the region. Will this meeting between Kyiv and Washington be a breakthrough and bring peace? Bureau Report, India Today.
Elon Musk-led SpaceX will launch the much-awaited Crew 10 mission to the International Space Station. The Dragon spacecraft will then undock from the flying laboratory with 4 astronauts, including Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmore. How will Musk and his SpaceX crew rescue Sunita Williams? Find out in this report.
It has been a long wait for Sunita Williams. And finally, she's headed home. Elon Musk-led SpaceX is launching the much-awaited Crew 10 mission to the International Space Station. The Dragon will launch with 4 astronauts who will replace the current team aboard the International Space Station. The 4 astronauts launching as part of Crew 10 include Anne McClain, Nicole Ayers, Takuya Onishi and Kirill Peskov. Upon arrival at the International Space Station, Crew 10 will replace the current team. Following separation from Flacon 9, the Dragon spacecraft will execute a series of burns that position the vehicle progressively closer to the station before it performs final docking maneuvers, followed by pressurization of vestibule, hatch opening and crew ingress. The handover would then occur on the International Space Station and Crew 9 would return to Earth a few days later. Sunita Williams' return got political after President Donald Trump and Elon Musk accused the Biden administration of intentionally delaying their homecoming. Trump then said that he authorized Elon a week ago to retrieve them. Musk, a vocal advocate for deep space exploration, recently argued that the International Space Station has very little incremental utility and should be deorbited within 2 years. His push for an early International Space Station retirement aligns with his broader vision of prioritizing deep space exploration over maintaining infrastructure in low Earth orbit. Bureau Report, India Today.
That's all in this edition of World Today, but if you want to catch more in-depth analysis on international news, log on to India Today Global's YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. Goodbye and take care.